Hi everyone, I'm Allie and this is Top Book Club. Today I'm talking to Thea Weiss about her novel, The Second Chance Cinema. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Could you give us a quick summary of the book for those who haven't read it yet?
Yeah, it follows an engaged couple, Ellie and Drake, and they are out for a walk late at night in their city, and they stumble upon a movie palace at the top of a dark alley. And it doesn't play the classic films you would expect. It actually plays their memories back like a movie. So they go through this journey together and they have to weigh how much their past lives affect their present together as a couple and see all of the really fun childhood moments as well as a lot of tension and secrets and things that challenge them as a couple.
Mhm. All right, so the story is very different than your typical romance I found. So what inspired you to write it?
I love rom-coms, and that's kind of my rainy day type of movie is I love, While You Were Sleeping or When Harry Met Sally. But
Yes, I
I
saw
also
the
wanted,
reference to that in the
yes,
book. I
yeah.
loved that.
I also wanted to tell a story that spoke to all of the versions of ourselves that go into a relationship and focus on some of the hard parts too, and really put a couple through the test of are you right for each other? Do you want to be together? And the central question I was really interested in is do you need to love who someone was before you met them to love who they are right now? Um, I've been hearing from readers it's kind of like the story that happens after the happy ending in a romance. It's really about the hard work between
Yeah, you
these
really get into
people.
like the nitty-gritty of the two of
Yeah,
them. Yeah.
for sure.
Did your previous work as a copywriter or screenwriter help you in writing this?
Definitely. I think the screenwriting, which I wrote probably seven scripts on spec in my 20s, which is just like an unpaid script. It's a really hard industry to crack with
Hmm.
screenwriting. And I wanted to tell a more expansive story for this, and it really worked so well in book form. But I did start out with an old screenplay as my outline, and that kind of became the starting point for the characters and the book, and the memories we see changed quite a bit, but just having that screenplay to go off of was really helpful. And I also wanted the book to feel cinematic in itself, like in the
Hmm.
dialogue and the visuals, and I think the experience helped with that element. And copywriting helped me learn to edit myself. I have done a lot of work with brands where you're trying to figure out the perfect headline for an email in 4 words, and it also needs to get translated and still work.
Hmm.
And um, it taught me just how to be a bit more specific with language and kind of nail down the story I wanted to tell a little bit more.
That's really cool. So what's your writing process like? Usually, I guess. I know you have the script for this one then that helped you with that.
For sure. The process on Second Chance Cinema was so different from the second book I'm writing,
Mhm.
and it was kind of written piecemeal in between things, and a lot of really big life events happened while I was writing it. I had a little one, and lots of starts and stops and working on it before or after work.
Mhm.
And with this second book, I finally feel like I have a process where I start really early in the morning and I spend the first half of the day just trying to write as quickly as possible because I am someone who I get in my head a lot and I start to
Mhm.
question what I'm writing, and I'm just agonizing over every sentence. And I find writing really fast at the start of the day kind of helps that process. And then I spend the second half of the day editing myself. And when I'm not writing, it's really important for me to be doing different creative things and, I don't know, seeing a play, going to a concert, checking out a gallery, kind of fueling that creativity in other ways.
Lovely. I did want to ask, is your second book also a romance? I didn't know you were writing a second book.
Yeah, it's not a romance. I would say it falls more into the speculative side of things. It's definitely for a similar reader, and it's um, thematically focusing a lot on the expectations we set for our lives and whether they live up to those things and what happens when they don't. I think about birthdays a lot and how everyone is excited for their birthday and they make these big plans, and sometimes it's amazing, but sometimes it kind of falls short because you have these really high expectations set on it. So that's kind of what it's exploring through a magical lens.
Cool. Okay, I did want to ask, what is the reason Ellie and Melinda are so similar? Does Drake just have a type or
I love this question. Yeah. One smaller theme that really interested me was the idea of how we learn about ourselves through our relationships, and we're almost collecting pieces of what we're looking for in not only the people we date, but even friendships. Like, oh, I
Mhm,
really love the way this person plans things, but then I don't love how they didn't show up for me in this moment. And I liked the idea that the characters in this book were kind of learning about themselves through their old relationships, collecting pieces of what they were looking for in someone else. So I wanted Ellie and Melinda to feel fairly similar on a surface level. And then when we crack their characters open a little bit more, we get to, oh, they're motivated by totally different things and they actually want very different things. But it's almost like Drake did find a little piece of what he was looking for with Ellie and Melinda.
mhm. So then did Melinda prepare Drake for Ellie in some way?
I think yes and no. I think he learned who he is in a relationship, but it's a very young feeling relationship, if that makes sense. It starts young, it feels young as it progresses, and um, while I think he learned what it is to be with someone else and love them, I also think that relationship keeps him a little bit stuck, and
Mm,
it's a part of why we're seeing that in his memories because it's what he needs to move forward from. And I don't think it's because he is still in love with Melinda. I think it's because he's very focused on the failure of that relationship and what it means
no,
for
yeah, when it said Drake's failed proposal, that hit me really hard and I didn't know why. It was just like I felt for him in that moment so much to like have to experience that all over again.
yeah, for sure.
Mm. Um, is the goal of the cinema to keep people together who belong together?
Such a great question, and I've never been asked this, so it's
Oh.
very fun. Okay, I think the cinema is a neutral party, and
Okay.
I think its role is, I don't want to say it's a therapist, but it is almost giving people the space to see the parts of their lives that are holding them back from
Mhm.
being in the present. I am someone who thinks a lot about the past, and I can kind of get stuck in, the way a certain thing happened or not remembering a piece of something. And I think the cinema is a place for the characters to reflect on the things that they kind of want to honor in the present and accept what they need to let go of. There was actually a scene in the book where they walk in and they catch Natalie, the theater manager, watching some of her own memories.
Oh,
And I ended up cutting it because it just opened up too many loose ends. But I really think it could be a space for any relationship that needs reflection. Could be friends or a mother and daughter. I just wanted to tell a story about a couple leading up to a wedding, since it's a moment where they're choosing each other or not choosing each other.
yeah, I guess I had that question because I felt that Ellie and Drake were kind of like, it looked like they were holding back a little bit. And so the cinema kind of exposed them
Yeah,
to each other. And I actually thought it was better for their relationship to know like everything about the other person basically
yeah.
before they went into their marriage. So yeah, that's why I was wondering because I thought it was a really fascinating concept just to be kind of like exposed fully before you're about to get married.
So scary.
Yeah. I did want to ask, what was the meaning of Ellie's message in the book that she wrote to Stephanie? It said, "Please don't forget me."
Yes, kind of a dual meaning. Stephanie, without giving too much away, I'll keep it kind of general, but Stephanie says, write something honest. And I wanted to show the character progression in Ellie that I don't think she would have written something honest at the beginning of the book. Um, but going through the cinema has changed her a little bit, and she does because at her core, Ellie is someone who is very afraid of being forgotten.
Mm,
And that's why we see a lot of the memories that we do in the cinema. And then the person who later sees that message and reads it and reacts to it, I think takes a very different meaning from it. And it kind of sparks his journey.
hmm. Okay, so then do you think Lucas and Stephanie would work together? Is that why they're led to the cinema at the end?
I think I want it to be open-ended
Okay.
for the reader to kind of fill in their story. Um, but I will say with that relationship, I wanted a space to reflect on the themes that wasn't just with Ellie and Drake. And I really enjoy in films when there's a little extra scene at the end or there's a little something special at the beginning that's almost unrelated, but it does end up tying into the story. And I wanted to create that kind of feeling.
Yeah, because I felt like Lucas seemed like a different person than he had been described in Ellie's, like with being with Ellie. He seemed more closed off because of what she had done. And so I feel like him seeing that was just kind of like a little bit like bitter for him because it's like, how can I? Like, look
Right.
what you did.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
What do you hope people will take away from this book?
As I talk with people about it, I love that they start to tell me about their own life as much as it's about the characters. I want it to be a space for people to reflect on those memories and maybe look at the areas that they can let go of and find ways to honor the things that are really special from the past. So it's been a cool experience just having people share, oh, it made me think of this, or it's been really exciting.
I did really like the part when Drake is like, sorry for the spoilers. He's like meditating kind of on the memories that he was shown after he talks with his parents, and it's like, oh, I didn't want to take risks. That's what
Mhm.
was actually like, that's what the cinema was trying to show me. And I just really appreciated seeing that character growth from him because it was just really refreshing. So I wanted to like say that.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And I did want to ask, what book is your favorite?
Oh my gosh, favorite? That's such a hard question. Let me think. What am
Okay.
I reading now? Okay, first of all, I have the worst memory,
Okay.
so I've always forgotten. Recently, I've really enjoyed Martyr. I've really enjoyed My Friends by Frederick Bachman. Um, yeah, I favorite book of all time is so hard.
Alrighty. I don't have any more questions for you, so I don't know, like, if we should just wrap it up then, I guess. Thank you so much for being here again.
Thank you for having me. This was really fun.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.